Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to another video all about books. As I said in a recent video, I don't know if I can put a particular, a specific video in more than one playlist. If I can, I will have this both under the thrifting playlist and in the what's in my bookcase area as well. These books are a result of, several purchases at several different locations, ranging from, a couple of antique malls to regular thrift stores. And I haven't taken the time to sort them really in any way. It's just sort of do this, put them away, reclaim my workspace. So, with that proviso, let us begin. Now, this one is called Heat and Heat Engines for Marine Engineers. And I know you've been lying awake nights wondering, when is she going to show us a book like that? This book was written or was copyrighted in 60 or reprinted in 69. And basically, its value to me are the equations, the pages that look like, this, with little drawings, little, like I say, equations, tables, because they add interest if a person is using these for collage, for adding some interest to some things that we're embellishing. And to be honest, this might as well have been written in Greek, because that's as much as it means to this kid. But hey, I don't have to understand how my microwave works to use it. So similarly here, I don't have to know what this means in order to use it. But again, there is definite appeal to these sorts of books. Everything can't be butterflies and birds, guys. So, have I sold you on this book yet? Anyway, that's that for what it's worth. This one, again, the only reason I picked it, 11 1/4 by 5 3/4. The only reason I picked this one is because of, all the tall, skinny journals that people are doing these days. And it does have sewn signatures, so it could be deconstructed. Oh, this is interesting. I mean, nice layout and typography here. This could be taken apart and become just signature pages because it's not terribly glossy. It's colorful. It shows sort of finished floral arrangements and the mechanics of doing the arrangement. So the pages themselves, I guess, are almost too big. Well, no, that's 11. So something like this would be, well, I guess almost perfect, or would need a little trim to fit into the typical skinny book, layout or format. This one, again, these books were, I paid $1. I think this whole bunch here, I paid $1 for each. So again, at that price, you can't buy coffee for that price. So I don't have any problem justifying it to myself or rationalizing the purchase or anything like that, because the last time it was taken out 2001. Because there is obviously value in there. There are things to fussy cut around. There are things that could become borders. It's not a particularly thick book. It's only 40 pages. But hey, you obviously believe in stuff like this, otherwise you wouldn't be watching it, is my thinking. So I don't want to preach to the converted. You obviously understand the value of these sorts of things and can appreciate that they will be put to good use and are well worth the investment. And you know, some of these, when you're in the thick of the hunt and you're buying and you're making a pile, I don't even have to, I'm seeing this for the first time with you. I flip through it, I think, oh yeah, and it goes in my pile. Making a single section book. Oh, could they be talking about the 3-hole pamphlet stitched, perhaps? Make a zigzag book. Anyway, I think I've belabored that enough. This was clearly a good buy, and it is, where do I see the date? 1990. Now these, I'm sure you've all seen them. They're ideals. I don't believe, well, I don't know. I don't imagine they're still being published. This one, January 2003. Oh, I didn't realize it was in the 2000s. But anyway, so the value here is you've got this heavier weight cardstock cover, gorgeous illustrations. This one is on Easter. You know, matte paper, interesting little page decorations, poetry, full page photos that could become envelopes. Again, cute little borders to either fussy cut or fussy tear. I just want to make sure that you can see something. Recipes, you know, sketches like, or illustrations like that. So I scored a bunch of these, you know, a few years ago, and I can't remember if I took them all apart yet or not, but I don't think for that price that if you were to encounter them that you'd want to just walk on by. So I won't show you every page because it's basically a similar format. Illustrations suitable for fussy cutting, poetry, photography. You know, that would make a cute border in a homemaking book. Oh, these two will be good because they're both for Mother's Day. And I don't know, like I never subscribed to this. I didn't know these things existed, to be honest, until about 3 years ago. I don't know if they were, published 8 times a year. So I guess they were probably, okay, this one is 1950, 85. If the publication schedule was geared around, you know, Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, that sort of thing. I don't know that, but, oh, see, this is different. Where's the year? Oh, 2003. Yeah, quite a bit newer. But again, the paper is great for our purposes. Now, this is one that's sort of on one of those sleepers that you see on the shelf and you think to yourself, But I took the time to open it. It says, Keeping a Nature Journal. Discover a whole new way of seeing the world around you. Claire Leslie and Charles Roth. Yeah, some staining. 2000. But illustrations. And a quick flip through. Boy, water damage, or is that coffee? Hey, it comes pre-coffee stained. Oh, maybe this was geared towards children? It almost looks like it. Anyway, so there are pages like this. Yeah, I guess they're showing children's work here. Journaling with school groups. Pages like this. Drawing birds, deer anatomy. Drawing the weather. Drawing landscape. So you can just see, and the paper has a bit of, well, not a sheen necessarily, but a kind of a slipperiness to it. But again, there's so many good parts here. The font, the little sketches that could be either fussy cut or torn around, or even use the whole page. Let's see, what size are we talking about here? So 10 inches by 8.5. Now we're getting into some color. Even if a person wanted the reproduction of someone's printing, little swatches. Because this sort of printing, of course, always adds interest to our whatever we're doing. Sunset, sunrise. You know, again, I've said it 100 times before. The choice then becomes, which side of the page do you love more? But for $1, not likely to leave it behind. Look at those cute little birds there. Yeah, again, I don't know if this was... I don't know who this is directed to, whether it's... Oh, maybe it is directed to students. Anyway, it doesn't matter because I know what I want to get out of it, and I know that it's going to deliver. Okay, let's keep going here. This is one of those, kind of page-a-day things. So it's 365 daily lessons from the 7 fields of knowledge. And again, I don't know if this has any value to... Well, I suppose it does. Nice paper. Some illustrations. It's basically a condensation of, important themes or people or whatever. If you want to know something about Homer, there it is in a nutshell. So I guess, I don't know if this is a great primer for an appearance on the Jeopardy show or what, but, basically kind of a quick and easy way to find out something about something that's clearly more intense or complicated than one page. Charles Dickens, well, my goodness. Whole books and series of books have been written about him. So, again, bite-sized pieces of information. When was this written? 2006. Kind of a cover that needs wiping, but again, $1. I have never had this book before. This is the McCall's Needlework Treasury, a learn and make book, 379 stitches and needlework techniques. I don't know if the book was broken when I bought it or if it was just in the packing and repacking that we had to do to get all our stuff home. I said that in another video, a haul video about the performance we put on in a thrift store parking lot. Okay, illustrations about stitch types. I think I flipped through this one as I'm in the car just to see what it was that I bought. But you can see there are things that could be fussy cut. This is a big book. It is pretty well 11 by 8.5. Nice big headings, a lot of illustrations. I don't think there's really any color in here to speak of. And it covers a variety of needlework forms. So this section is on tatting. There's crocheting and knitting and rug hooking. Oh, here's a color photo. Lace. Well, I fillet crochet. We're still crocheting here. Here we are knitting. So these kinds of, what would you call them? I guess, you know, photos that demonstrate different stitching or different patterns. You know, those, a person could do something with those. You know, collage or journaling cards or something like that. The graphic nature here, the interesting colors that they've used. So what are we going to find out that this book is from the 70s or so? I was reading something about candle wicking. I'd kind of lived through that era, but had never done it. Kind of thought it was cool. So, you know, a few minutes I learned something about that. Huck weaving. I think I might have shown you a cushion cover that I did in home ec. It's officially now an antique. No, it's not 100 years. It's vintage for sure. Smocking, hard anger. I have a lot of hard anger work. I even have done it myself. I didn't know that there was a special word for this sort of Tenerife. Is that how you'd say it? Embroidery that you do on gingham. That, like, there was that whole craze where people were doing like luncheon cloths and aprons and you name it. It was a thing of the day. Okay, have I given this one its due? Let's just check the date. Okay, so copyright 64. So I'll just make a big pile on the side here. Now this was a kind of interesting. It's well, it's called Our Family History, Record Book, Photo Album, and Family Tree. So it's landscape format. It's almost structured like those Victorian photo albums with these, you know, these pre-cut openings and the rigid doubled up sheets. So there are a few of those. Oh, here's the family tree. I didn't bother unfolding this, but you can see it's huge. And it's got some nice watercolor, watermark type images in the background that could be certainly used. So there's the album part. And what is this? How to research, like to find your family tree. I'm hoping to find a date here. Then this book is kind of in this box part of this contraption. Actually, that could be easily peeled off, and yeah, that's what I would do. I would rip this off and then worry about covering the back cover. It's got a ribbon closure. Okay, let's just have a look-see here. Okay, our family record book. Oh, here's where we see the date, 1998. But you can see that there are some cute images and some nice borders that could be fussy cut. Again, the landscape layout is always a favorite of mine. Some of these pages with lines, especially when there are more lines like that, that could be a journal backing page. You know, so each page virtually has some sort of an image that could be fussy cut out. I guess sometimes you can't choose. You have to, I mean, sometimes you have to choose, but it's also the size where you could make it into, by just folding like so, you could turn it into a signature page. Okay, so you don't need to see every single page. I haven't seen every single page. Just tuck this out of the way. I haven't decided, whoops, I haven't decided yet how many more books I'm going to show you. I should probably look at the time. We're at the 20-minute mark. Well, I'll show you this one for sure, and then maybe I have to kind of plan this a bit, because if I, well, maybe if I do a few more today, then maybe the last batch will be, maybe I can get away with one more video. Okay, this one is called the Gloralilia Needlepoint Collection. Didn't know such a thing existed. I forgot to look at the cover. The cover is perfecto. Interesting hand papers here. These are cute. Those are needle pointed. Needle pointed? They're dolls made out of needlepoint. It's got, you can tell by the colors, the photography, the dried flowers and all that, you know, kind of the, you know, it's dated. They go to all this trouble of spelling out the copyright, but they don't say the year. Anyway, so a lot of gorgeous full-page images. And for those of us who like this visual stimulation of color and texture and intricate patterns, I mean, that's just perfect. The other thing that was in here, and I'll show you this in a second, but you can see it's a combination, again, of beautiful photography, some chart type designs. Paper is, you know, has a bit of a sheen to it. These are really nice. You know, I can see, yeah, it's basically 2 pages. You know what I would do here? I would cut each of these squares out, and I would probably work them into 1 or 2 collages. You know, like a masterboard type thing. At the back here are patterns that I think were meant to be either enlarged or reduced or whatever, depending on whatever it is that you're planning to do. Oh, okay, so this is the violet one here is Monet's Poppies. So maybe as I flip through kind of quickly, maybe we'll spot some of the finished projects. You know, after you do 2 or 3 of these videos in a row, your tongue doesn't work anymore. See, something like this to me even has interest as a page. But let's try to find one of those that I just referenced. It's a violet applique, but that's, oh yeah. Okay, so that pattern, that is it there. That is it there. Maybe I can find that other one that we saw. See, there are those dolls again. What was it? Oh, Monet's Poppies. Oh, okay, right here. So there would be the finished framed piece. Again, more, these things just add interest to them. You know, like if a person was doing a smaller journal, you could cut these 2 things out and you have basically 2 pages in a signature. Anyway, you get the picture there. Oh, I was going to show you this. Apparently this came with each purchase of a book. Kind of a cool envelope in itself. And so they were They are, okay, this is sort of cardstock weight. It teaches you how to do the stitches because, where's my pokey thing? Where's my pokey thing? Where's something sharp? Oh, there it is. They intend for you to stitch through this card following the instructions. So by the time you've done this, you've made your own little sampler and presumably, you know, have it forever to refer to. So satin stitch, crossed corn, blah, blah, blah. Anything that they have sort of come up with, chain stitch. So apparently, I guess that was fairly unique. I don't know, I've never seen it before anyway, so here's an order form. Oh, this has to be a British thing because the price is in pounds. Anyway, so I just thought that was kind of a cool bonus. And again, the book cost $1. Okay, I think I'm going to persevere a bit. So we're at the 26-minute mark. I will try to show you a few more things. This, the guy that was selling this didn't know what language these books were. I've never seen this before. He thought it may have been, like there was an Indian family in that community that was leaving. They were moving someplace else, so apparently they donated a fair number of books. I didn't realize there were illustrations in here as well. Yeah, it does look Indian, doesn't it, by that illustration. But again, just add another tool in my repertoire of, now the page, well, mind you, that's the page that has the photo. This is not glossy, this is. You know, imagine that on a collage. Imagine that, you know, being used to embellish something. Throw that in with some Ukrainian and some French and some German, some Chinese. Oh, and here it's really small, kind of a lot smaller and more condensed, sort of, more compact. So, again, $1. This, I guess, would be the same type of thing. Yeah, this definitely, oh yeah, by a person named Singh. Yeah, these definitely look Indian to me. No idea of the date, though. This cover has maybe seen better days. But again, look at some illustrations. I guess it could be used in the right setting. Yeah, nice. Maybe I should try to restock this a bit so I have a little more room here. Oh, one of the other things that I didn't show in that recent haul video is that I bought myself a metal magazine rack. And of course, those were a thing back in the day. Well, I guess they've never really left the scene, maybe. But that was a big thing when I was growing up. You know, there were those wooden ones that had a shelf at the bottom. It was a little side table almost, and those pockets on the sides. Anyway, I thought, boy, that's kind of handy for right here beside my desk when I want to have something. I don't want to make another pile, because piles can be deadly. But I do want to sort of contain things. And when things are vertical, it's easier to to see them. I could do this pile, I guess. Yeah, and I'll still have quite a few. Anyway, okay. This one feels, I don't know, could it be leather? It kind of feels like leather. Maybe it is leather. It's got this stringy thing on the side that must have been in a bow at one time. And it says better than gold. Let's give you an idea of size. We haven't measured anything lately. 11 by, I guess probably going to be. It's got that sort of, I can't remember, what do you call this kind of a binding where it's kind of offset like that? Anyway, doesn't matter. For our purposes, it does not matter. So 1978 was the inscription. You can, printed in 19, okay, well, this version, 1977. Religious content, yeah, these goldy yellow pages, but it almost feels, it isn't, but it almost feels like parchment paper. But you can see nice border decoration, poem, imagery, these little nuggets of information, or again, poetry, a quote, and I guess categorized by theme: advice, age, arts, brotherhood, challenge, happiness. I'm skipping over several, of course. Solace, worship, youth. So again, for those of us who love paper, this is good for another day of a paper fix. Can I just editorialize a bit and say that it's better to be hooked on paper than anything else? Yeah, so really quite attractive. I have something similar. Can't just this minute think of what the title is. This one is called The Botany Coloring Book. And in cases like this, sometimes I think that maybe, sometimes you find these sold at university bookstores or whatever, because there are things to be learned. I might have one on anatomy. Anyway, even if, yeah, somebody was clearly using this to study something. So even if some of the coloring has been done, I don't care, because no one ever finishes these books. Okay, you know what, that surprises me. I didn't realize that coloring books have been around since the 80s. Again, big, 11 by 7 3/4. So a row of numbers if you want them. But look at this. Is that not perfect? Just straighten out the little bent corner here. Oh, see? And I didn't even realize that at the time. You don't have to choose. The illustrations are on one page, and there's text behind it. So plant genetics, multicellular units. I wonder if this thing cost $12.90. Could it have? Well, it is 1985. Could this have cost $13 back then? But you can see the possibilities here. And wouldn't this really nice paper, it would take tea or coffee dye, I'm sure, quite beautifully. And it would be nice in a botanical, or, well, for that matter, any kind of journal. And a person could pick up a few more words for Wordle or Scrabble, or like panicle. When was the last time you heard that word? So, sometimes don't skip past the coloring book section. Sometimes they're ridiculously priced. A book, sorry, I'm on a tangent here, straightening corners. Sometimes, in some locations, they're ridiculously priced, considering they're half used, but that's another story. This is nice paper. I can see cutting her out and using her. It's a Singer sewing book. I have never seen it before, although I have other Singer books of my own. Yeah, nice cover too. This too is on the big side. 10, almost 10 3/4 by 7 1/2. Love that color for the end paper. Okay, copyright 1949. Yeah. So it's going to be your typical sewing book, except older. Holy cow, I didn't know that's how people were decorating 49. But a lot of these, sort of black and white illustrations of pieces of furniture, techniques, some black and white room photos. Oh, how to set up your sewing room. I'll just kind of do a quick flip through because I think most of us have seen books like this. I just I don't personally have any that are this old, so I was happy to pay $1 for this. And it's surprising how what goes around comes around. Like these sort of shaped balances. If they were showing this in a book from 49, we know it's been back once or twice since then. Okay, now isn't this nice? Where the edge stitcher shines. Okay, so what they're showing off here is a particular, I guess some of the stitch attachments or whatever. Shirring and smocking, tucking and pinking, trimming with braid. Is there no end to what we can do? Corded finishes and feminine frills. Quilting and top stitching. See, all of us would be much better at top stitching now because of all the stitching we've done around cards and pages and pockets. Yeah, we learned how to do it on paper. Oh, this was those machines where you had that separate attachment for doing buttonholes or whatever. That was pretty cumbersome. And those things were really heavy when I see these old machines. I'm thinking, oh, if I want this for my craft room, I don't want to have that gizmo on there. Give me something a wee bit newer. Oh, here's the typical section on fitting and alterations. Are you big busted? Do you have a big rear end? How do we take this in? How do we let this out? Pleats and inserts. Anyway, I've probably gone on long enough about this. Oh, here we're talking about what colors to wear for your eye color. Wait, no, is it eye or hair? No, hair. Oh, I see. I would have started here, but now I'm here. Do you remember in the 80s? 80s, was it? When color draping was a thing? Well, of course, at that point, I learned that I was a winter. And the pure, rich, saturated colors, that was the place to be, man. anything about, oh yeah, there's even some stuff on the back cover that could be saved. That's cool. Maybe I will show you a couple more things. At this rate, if I keep talking, you'll see everything. No, I'm going to leave. Okay, I'm going to end with those two. Let's draw the line somewhere. Okay, this was a ledger. And of course, when you see ledger, you automatically, your heart goes a little pitter-patter. This is not particularly old. And I did not pay that. It has this alphabetical, these alphabetical tabs, sort of. And this was from some sort of a booster club. So these are just plain in the beginning with the little alphabetical tabs. Then there were very few pages, so 1938. Okay, after you get past the Z, you're now in these sort of ledger type pages. So 1938, postage. Oh, they paid 20 cents for postage. Whoa, that's crazy. Yeah, you can see the big dollar amounts that they're dealing with here. But unfortunately, not very many pages like this. I think that basically is it. So the rest of the book is all blank. And again, that's not the end of the world. The color is lovely. The page numbers are big and bold. So, oh, here's another bent corner. Why is it that people bend corners? Anyway, that these pages will clearly be used. Let's just see what the size is. 7.5 by... See, they could be used in a tall, skinny journal. Wouldn't that make a cute page? It's a wee bit long, but it could be turned up or it could be trimmed. I mean, a pocket could be made at the bottom, or it could be trimmed and used elsewhere. This one, I think, needs a good dusting. Ooh. The Great Composers. Now, I am almost positive that I have some of these before, but I think they have the brown cover. Sorry, I just encountered one other book. I forgot I bought. So, gold embossing. I don't know why this was stuck, or did he come out of there? No, I'd say he's too young to be in this group. I may have shown you something like K66, published in, copyright 66, published in 77. So again, almost, well over 50 years old. So basically, it's got, oh, look, it's got these little guys here, like Brad feet on them. And why don't I just, oh. That's good when your nails are just freshly done. Okay, let's take the back one out and see what it's like. So basically, it's, I got two there. A booklet on a particular person. This guy lived to 1869, so they're big pages of text. There's some reproduction drawings, a reproduction of documents. So again, I would say mainly the value here is collage fodder. And with that, oops, I should have put it through there. Anyway, I'll fix that in a minute. Okay, people, I am going to stop here. We are at 44 minutes. I thank you for joining me. I will remind you that I am still attempting to get my subscriber numbers up. with the intention of having a giveaway at the 500 500 subscriber milestone. So if you can do anything to help me with that, I would certainly appreciate it. And of course, the sooner we get there, the sooner someone will win a prize, and so on and so on. Anyway, I have at least one more book haul video to do. Again, look for them in either the What's in My Bookcase playlist or the thrifting playlist, or possibly both. And yeah, thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks. Bye.